Hey, what's up guys, this is Disturbed. I'm editing this part in because I realized the video was a little bit hard to follow. I'll try to improve upon that in a later video, sorry about that, but if you want a summary of exactly what weapon mods use, just skip to the end of the video where I have a still image that shows everything. But I would recommend watching the full video because it did take me a really long time to make and I would appreciate it, and it's really good to know the math and reasoning behind things. But if you are going to skip to the end, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you later. Hey, what's up guys, it's Disturbed, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to correctly mod every single gun in order to completely maximize your DPS output. There are a huge amount of misconceptions with which weapon mods are the best for each weapon type, and to clear it up I thought that I'd make this video, so let's get right into it. So first off, let's take a look at SMGs. Now for the scope, it's pretty straightforward. You want headshot damage and crit chance. Other options you have are headshot damage and optimal range, or headshot damage and accuracy, or a mix between the two. Optimal range doesn't really help at all with an SMG because the range on it is already so small, so increasing it by only 20% really doesn't do much, and accuracy is even worse. It basically just doesn't do anything. Now the 7% crit chance is a lot and it helps a ton, so that's definitely what you want for the scope. And moving on to the magazine, you want one with magazine size. If it doesn't have magazine size but instead it gives you another bonus, it's just not worth it because an extended mag can double your magazine size, and with doubling your magazine size you are cutting your reloading time down in half. As you can see, the RPM of this AUG is 725 rounds per minute, and if I divide that by 60 to get how many bullets I'm shooting a second, my answer is 12, so that means that I'm shooting 12 bullets a second. If I don't have extended mag every 2 to 2.5 seconds, I have to reload, and then my reload time on my AUG is 3.5 seconds. So at this point, without an extended magazine, I'm reloading more than I'm actually shooting. But you could say, oh, you can just get a magazine which makes you reload faster. Alright, good point. Those bonuses are usually around a 25 to 30% bonus reload speed time. So 30% of 3.5 seconds is 1.05 seconds. So I would effectively reduce my reload time to 2.45 seconds. But if I have an extended mag, I'm reloading every 5 seconds as opposed to every 2.5 seconds, therefore giving me more uptime on my shooting because obviously, 2.5 additional seconds is more than 1.05 additional seconds. Also, not to mention, with my extended mag, it opens up the opportunity for you to hit more headshots, and with the talent 1 is none, it will return a lot of the bullets directly to your mag, giving you even more uptime. So bottom line, you just want extended magazine. Now for the bonus on that, you're able to get weapon damage, rate of fire, crit damage, and crit chance. Crit chance is the worst for your SMG because with the additional bonus of crit chance you get from your SMG, like 20 to 25%, it just devalues crit chance, and you'll already be close to 60% crit chance, which is the cap, and all the other bonuses just give a way better bonus. So now that we've ruled out crit chance, we have rate of fire, crit damage, and weapon damage. Real quick, let's just compare crit damage and weapon damage. So as you can see here, I have the crit damage mag on and I'm critting to the body for 34,570, and if I put on the weapon damage magazine, I'm critting for 34,609. So I increase my damage by 39, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but the weapon damage also affects the hits that aren't crits, the little white damage hits. So my crit damage went up slightly and my white damage went up by a full 12%, so that's actually really nice. So now it's between weapon damage and rate of fire. And if you're fighting NPCs, rate of fire wins hands down. You're able to shoot 27% faster, and the more bullets you shoot a second, the more DPS you're doing. But in PvP against other players, when they're rolling around all over the place, dancing around, hiding behind cover, all this stuff, when you're missing your shots while they're moving, you're now missing 27% more shots because you're shooting that much faster. And when you miss more shots, you then have to reload more often. And when you're missing your shots, it's a DPS decrease as opposed to an increase because it's making you reload more often. So weapon damage wins in that scenario. So against NPCs, you want rate of fire because you won't have a problem landing all your shots, but in PvP, you want weapon damage. Now for the grip, it doesn't really matter that much on SMG, but I would say just get hipfire accuracy and accuracy because sometimes in PvP when people get really close and they start rolling around and stuff, hip firing is really helpful. Also, you move faster while hip firing, so that's pretty cool. Now moving on to the muzzle, you have the option between crit damage, crit chance stability, and horizontal stability and accuracy. For an SMG, as I said before, getting extra crit chance isn't much worth it since you're already close to the cap, and an additional 30% crit damage will help you with your DPS tremendously. In terms of if you want accuracy or stability paired with that crit damage, for an SMG it doesn't really matter that much, but if I were to pick, I would say either stability or accuracy. Horizontal stability won't help you out that much with an SMG. Now moving on to how you would mod an assault rifle. It's all the same as an SMG except you don't want rate of fire on your magazine because assault rifles are notorious for having recoil problems, and that will only make it worse with extra rate of fire, so it's much more worth it to get weapon damage. Now a lot of you might be thinking that getting the extra crit chance on your assault rifle or sniper rifle or whatever it may be would be better because you don't have the bonus built-in crit chance like an SMG does. Originally I thought this too, so I decided to test it out. So I went and I did some research trying to find out what the absolute best crit chance to crit damage ratio was. Turns out nobody has actually done extensive testing on this, and there really isn't a steady answer because there are just way too many variables. But there is one rule of thumb, and that rule of thumb is before switching one thing out for crit chance instead of crit damage, or vice versa, determine what your crit power would be before doing this with both of the different things. Your crit power is just your crit chance multiplied by your crit damage, and whichever number is higher will give you the most overall DPS. So I decided to do this with my muzzle on my assault rifle, and I didn't do it on the magazine because getting extra 12% damage to that is just way better than 7% crit chance would be, so that's what you want to use on your magazine, by the way. But anyways, if I have crit damage on my muzzle, my crit damage will be 165%, and my crit chance is 14%, but since I use a talent precision, my overall crit chance would be 26.8%, and I'll also be getting extra crit damage, so my crit damage will go up to 190.6% when it's activated, and it's activated 24/7, as you'll probably know from watching my previous video. Anyways, if we multiply my crit damage by my crit chance, my crit power ends up being 5,108. So let's say that I replace the crit damage on my muzzle with crit chance, so I would get an additional 7% crit chance but lose 31% crit damage. So my crit chance would be 33.8% and my crit damage would be 134%. So just multiply these together and I end up getting 5,394. So my crit power ends up being 286 more than if I were to use crit damage muzzle. But this changes if I were to be using the pulse skill or savage gloves, or I wasn't using the precision talent. I don't want to make you sit through all my math again, but if you are to use savage gloves, your crit power ends up being 300 more with the crit damage muzzle than with the crit chance muzzle. Same thing with pulse, but only if the pulse is above 20k skill power. If it's under 20k skill power, then it's not giving you enough crit chance to balance it out. So just in case you didn't quite follow all of that, if you're not using savage gloves and your pulse is under 20k skill power, then you want to muzzle with crit chance. Also, if you're not using the precision talent. If you are using savage gloves, or your pulse is above 20k skill power, or you are using the precision talent, then you want crit damage. And if for some reason you're using pulse with savage gloves with precision, regardless of the skill power of your pulse, etc., you will still want to use crit damage on your muzzle. Sorry if that was a little bit confusing, I just had to get all of that information out there. But anyways, moving on to the grip. For your grip, you want stability and accuracy if you can get one. I don't have one with stability, so I just use my hip fire accuracy one. Horizontal stability won't help out that much with an AR anyways. Now for your beloved M1A, everything's exactly the same, but for your grip, try to get stability and horizontal stability. It will help out a lot with your recoil. And for an LMG, you would mod it the same way as an assault rifle, and for a shotgun, you would mod it the exact same way as an SMG, with the exception of the muzzle having crit chance instead of crit damage, if you aren't using savage gloves and all that other stuff. And for a pistol, who cares, man? It doesn't really matter, it's just a damn pistol. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Sorry this video was a little bit longer. I just had to get all the math in and whatnot to explain everything better so you guys actually believe me and accept what I'm saying. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe for videos similar to this one. I'll see you later, guys.